Hey, what's up, friends? I wanted to connect with you all because it's been a minute and I'm really struggling with writing right now. So, the first thing I want to say to anyone out there who is unable to do what they're normally able to do because the world feels so overwhelming and insane, I just want you to know that I see you, I'm with you. I am also having a hard time just living life in any sort of normal way when things feel entirely, I was going to say things feel entirely abnormal, when the truth is things feel especially insane. But I wouldn't call it that much different than how things tend to feel, which is lots of violence, lots of injustice, lots of delusion, lots of cognitive dissonance, lots of hypocrisy. Everything feels just exacerbated. I'm coming to you from the United States, so though I know it's not limited to this country, certainly we all see what's happening in Gaza, in Sudan, in Haiti, in so many places around the world. There are so many just horrific realities happening right now, and it can feel for me just like what are we doing? How do we function as normal beings? How do we go about living life in any sort of normal way, for lack of a better word, normal, traditional way, in the way that we're used to, when we're being assaulted by so much horrible news, so many terrible things happening in the US from this government, so much dehumanization. It's just, it feels incomprehensible. And to me, it feels very destabilizing. So, again, I just want to acknowledge, like, you're not losing your mind if you're finding yourself unable to just go through the motions of living your traditional life right now. And And ultimately, we have to be with ourselves no matter how we're deciding to live right now, how we're able to live, how we're managing to live. Like, we are left with ourselves. Obviously, there's community or people in our lives and loved ones and all of that, but you wake up with yourself, with your thoughts, with your heart. You go to bed with yourself, with your thoughts, with your heart. And at a time like this, it is every bit, I believe, as important to prioritize your relationship to self, to get in conversation with yourself, with your integrity, to consider the words you're speaking, the actions you're taking, are they aligned with the directives of your heart? Because in my experience, the more we align our words and actions with love, in all that love invites, which is compassion, empathy, forgiveness, kindness, the more likely we are to find moments of peace, even within all the chaos, even within all the violence. And granted, our reality here is about more than just experiencing peace, obviously. But I don't have to sell you on that, because I don't know anyone who's just living in a state of peace right now. So, and what I know is that I am really, really struggling to stay in my heart. I am carrying just tremendous resentment, tremendous anger toward vast swaths of humanity, right? And that's okay. Like, I'm not trying to talk myself out of how I'm feeling. I'm just, along with how I'm feeling, continuously trying to talk myself into staying connected to empathy, staying connected to compassion, so that I do not myself become the dehumanizer. when what is so appalling to me is how dehumanizing this government is, right? So I am not interested in moving through life energetically in the same way as those who are dehumanizing, as those who are shaming, as those who are interested in taking away rights, kidnapping people off the streets, killing people, right? Like, it's so much. So, and then within all of that, there is a lot of there's a lot of pressure to be a certain way within it all, to act in a certain way, to speak up in a certain way, to perform, to show up, to be an activist, to do this, to do that. There's so many opinions about what is the right way to go about everything. And this is also why I think it's so important to check in with our hearts, to check in with our integrity, to check in and see if the actions we're taking feel in alignment with who we are and how we want to be acting, rather than taking action simply to appease a chorus of voices who say we have to do this in this way, show up this way, in this way. You don't have to do anything, is the truth. And if you feel called to be vocal, I can't encourage you enough to be vocal. If you're feeling a call to speak up about Gaza, I can't encourage you enough to speak up about Gaza. If you're feeling a call to speak up about ICE and what's happening in this country, I can't encourage you enough to speak up about ICE. If that call is coming from an authentic place within you. I understand not everyone is here to be an activist. That's not the path for everybody. Even in the face of genocide, even in the face of any number of horrors that are existing in this country and across the planet, not everyone is going to choose to be vocal. And I personally am not interested in condemning and shaming those who aren't. And I, at the same time, am interested in encouraging and nudging any of us who do feel the call to take some sort of action to do so. What feels in alignment. And I encourage us all, because I know for myself, I see the ways sometimes I shut myself down from engaging in a way that I might want to, because it feels like entering a war where everyone's going to be screaming and shouting and judging and saying what's the right way and what's the wrong way. And for me, that can feel really overwhelming in moments. And in other moments, I feel very clear about what it is I feel called to share or say. And I do that. And maybe I do it without reading any of the comments and not concerning myself with what people are going to think or how they're going to think about how I'm doing it. I think we silence ourselves so much because we're so terrified of being judged. We're so terrified of being condemned or shamed or getting it wrong. And people don't make that terror any easier, because people are out there condemning and shaming and pointing out every little thing that they think is wrong. And that can be the reason we choose to stay silent, even though our heart's like, come on, man, speak up or make a call or send a letter or send some money or do something. Right? So for anyone who is feeling the call and feeling the terror, along with the call of doing it wrong or being judged or not doing it at the right time or any of that, listen to yourself, listen to your heart, and trust in that inner wisdom, trust in that inner knowing, trust in that inner nudge that's coming from you to do something, if that is coming from you. And offer yourself a tremendous amount of grace if you're able in this time. I'm finding it very difficult to even hear myself lately over the cacophony of everyone else's voice. I'm also not making really healthy choices. I'm on social media more than is good for me. I'm yeah, I'm not making the healthiest choices right now. The one healthy choice I am making within the context of not making the healthiest choices is I'm giving myself a lot of grace. Like, it's okay. This is a wild time. There's no one right way to do anything right now. And the more we can shine compassion on ourselves, empathy on ourselves, kindness on ourselves, the more likely we are to offer those things to everyone else, even as we're speaking up very clearly about our convictions, if that's what we're choosing to be. So I think that's all I've got for you right now. I just want to acknowledge how hard it is to just move through the day in any sort of ordinary way, whatever that means. For me, every day is, I was going to say it's a fight. That's not really accurate, but a good chunk of every day is consumed with thoughts about Gaza, about ICE and all these families being destroyed, about the trans and queer community, about so many things, right? And then within that, living my life and doing my best in the moments where I am experiencing connection and joy to give myself over to it. And sometimes I'm successful and sometimes I'm not. And that's just where I am. That's just what's going on. I'm finding the state of things is not great for my creativity. I think some people flourish in this kind of environment creatively. I am seeing that I'm not one of those people, and I do want to stay connected. I do want to get clear. I do want to be able to hear myself and get clear about what can I offer, like how can my gifts be offered in a way that can be of service. Yeah, and then what I'm finding is anytime I do any one thing, even things that I don't know, even when I'm calling my rep and a part of me is like, does this even fucking matter, honestly? Is this making any fucking difference? Are they listening to anything? Because the same bullshit keeps getting spewed back. It's like, for me, energetically, there is something about movement and taking action and doing something that feels active versus just worrying and concern and heartbreak and anger. So if that's you, or if you feel like that might be you, you know, figure out what that might be for you, what that might look like for you. And be kind to yourself. And let's just keep, as much as possible, continuously staying in our hearts, continuously as much as we can, no matter what else we're doing. That's my main work right now, is getting myself back into my heart, because I see that when I fall out of alignment with love, my impulses don't feel as helpful, so it's a path, it's a journey. I love you all. I thank you for being here. I love you, and I thank you for being here. And if there's anything you want to share in the comments about how you're doing, please share. I read all the comments, and what's going on for you? How are you doing? How are you managing in all of this insanity? All right, I love y'all so much. Big love.